Oh, there we
I hear
go.
stuff. Okay.
Hello.
You start singing now? You good? We'll call the meeting to order. If you can rise for a moment of silent reflection. In the Pledge of Allegiance, I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Roll call, please, Janine.
Mr. Capristo, absent. Mr. Casagrande?
Here.
Mr. Gallo?
Here.
Mr. Gretz?
Here.
Mrs. King?
Here.
Mr. Wilms?
Here.
Mayor Campion?
Here. The statement of compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act pursuant to the requirements of the New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice filed in the office of the Borough Clerk, posted on the Borough website and on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the CoStar newspaper, and mailed to those requesting notice and providing payment in accordance with borough policy. Our agenda for this evening, we have no modifications. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
You have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? The agenda is approved. We have a set of minutes to approve from the September 20th, 2021 meeting. If I could have a motion for that, please.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? The minutes are approved. No presentations this evening, no discussion items listed. It brings us to Mayor and Council reports and announcements. I'll start with Councilman Gallo.
I have nothing to report tonight, Mr. Mayor. Thank
Come
you.
down the line, Councilman Wilms.
Nothing significant to report, sir.
Thank you. Councilman Gretz.
Nothing significant to report, thank you.
Councilman King.
Not really anything, no.
Fantastic. It's nice and
Let's
productive.
make it a clean sweep, Mayor. No formal report from me.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. We'll keep that clean. I will just remind everyone in the audience and for those at home that we are in Fire Prevention Week, so remember to check your smoke detectors, change batteries, push the buttons. I see that face. Did you change your batteries? See, that's why we remind people. Now you'll know. You check when you get them. That brings us to public comment for any item. Could I have a motion to open public comment?
I'll make the motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? We are open for public comment. Anyone like to speak? Please. Absolutely. Welcome.
Yeah,
Janine, give it a shot.
D is my key.
No, that sounds fine.
Batteries. Hello. Good.
There you go.
Two things, but since it's Fire Prevention Week, I have fire extinguishers in my house, and when I go to sleep at night, I pray that there's not a fire, because what would I do in that situation? I'm not sure I know how to use it. Is there any way that, like, if we go to the fire department, you guys could show us how to use them so we actually use it?
Can I just interrupt you for one
Sure.
moment to just announce your name?
Oh, I'm sorry, Sharon Bateau on Beverly Avenue, Spring Lake Heights.
What are you looking at me for?
Yeah.
You're both
No,
active.
I know.
You
Yeah,
he's
I
know
know.
what I'll say.
Absolutely.
I could answer for you, but
Yeah,
you're here.
we, certainly. You can come down to the station. We have drill nights on Tuesdays, meetings on Tuesdays. There's usually firefighters there on Sundays.
On Sundays as well, like what time on Sunday?
Usually late morning, after church, 10, 11 o'clock. They're usually there for a few hours in the afternoon as well. But usually Tuesdays, our first Tuesday of every month is our business meeting, and then every Tuesday after that, we're usually either doing a captain's drill, an engineer's drill, meaning trucks, but there's always guys there on a Tuesday night.
Great, and every Sunday?
Yeah, for the most part, every Sunday they're there as well. Late morning, early afternoon, there's usually members that are there, either cleaning trucks, going over equipment.
That'd be, because I've never actually used one. God forbid, what if I needed to use it and
That's not the time to figure it out, so I recommend you leave and go next door and call 911 and let the professionals deal with it. When you have a fire, if you're not sure how to use the fire extinguisher, that's not the time to figure it out. But we used to do down the firehouse every year for Fire Prevention Week, we would actually do demonstrations for that, and then we'd do some hands-on stuff. So I think that might be something we want to talk about bringing back down there. I say we, but you want
Yes,
to bring back there.
yes.
We're more than happy to.
And there is a simple acronym. It's called PASS. Pull the pin, aim the extinguisher, squeeze the handle, and sweep at the base of the fire.
So what most people don't appreciate with some of those little extinguishers is what comes out of it is a very, very fine powder that comes out in a giant white cloud. So when you do it in your small kitchen, you become in a
Disoriented.
giant cloud that can very easily disorient you. And if it doesn't work in knocking down the fire, you can be in a more dangerous situation. So there are nuances to knowing how to use it properly. So that's why I say if somebody's not 100% confident, that's not the time to figure it out.
Right, but I'd like to know.
Well, we can
Oh,
arrange for that.
absolutely, we can arrange for that.
That would be great.
Just shoot me a message and we'll go and I'll bring a couple and we can set some off and you can see what they look like.
All right. The other thing is, I just wondered if any of you all have looked at the noise ordinance again, when I was speaking, I don't know, several months ago about 8 to 8. I just think 8 o'clock is a little early, but 8 in the evening is definitely late, especially in the summers, and just in terms of the leaf blowers that they use and overuse and abuse, and if anybody's spoken to anyone in Spring Lake, because they're cracking down on the decibels, the power, looking into electric leaf blowers. I don't know if you remember the last time
I
I
do,
spoke this.
and I talked to some of my counterparts up here after that meeting, and I
Yeah.
had some notes and I made some calls, and I'll be honest with you, I forgot about it, so I made a note and I will work on it again
Okay.
tomorrow. I apologize.
Because it's very intrusive.
Frank, I'm special counsel in Spring Lake, I found on that, and I spoke to Brian Dempsey.
Uh-huh.
He had said he was gonna update me on how they were gonna try to get around the state mandate noise pollution control act ordinance. I haven't heard from him there, but I actually have a call scheduled with him at 7:45 tonight before he goes into another meeting.
I think it's really important, especially if you have to work from home.
But that
It's
would be a
insane.
policy decision of the council, but there
Okay.
is a state law and a model ordinance. If you make any modifications to the model ordinance, you have to have it approved by the Department of Environmental Protection, which is a very difficult process. In my career of the 7 attempts to do so, I've been rejected.
That's why it fell off and I forgot about it because I was waiting to hear back. That was what it
Oh, well, I
was.
think it's
I'll speak to Mr. Dempsey, get an update from him. As I said, we worked together, we've known each other for many years. He even knew who would have been down here to talk to us about it.
Thank you.
And, I'll update the governing body as soon as I hear from him.
Do you have to go to the EPA to change the times, though?
Yes.
Well-
Kind of, I wouldn't want to tell you what the morning hour is, but it's.
It's
10
8.
PM.
It's 8 to 8.
No, under the model ordinance, it's till 10 PM. So you better be careful what you wish for if you do that. There's a 55 decibel limit that is after 10, and a 65 is the previous decibel limit. In order to have a proper noise ordinance, if you adopt that model ordinance, all your police would have to be trained. It's about $3,000 of an officer. You have to buy all this equipment, and there's a whole scientific process, but.
Well, Spring Lake is looking into it.
As I said, I'll keep the governing body updated on that.
Right, I think Spring Lake's already changed the hours in the evening from 8 to 6. I think that's already been done. I just think that the health of the constituents is really important, health and safety and those things cause cancer. And 8 o'clock is way too late. That's my story, and I'm sticking
Thank you.
to it.
Anyone else?
Jay Zoner, 908 Shore Road. I spoke 2 weeks ago about the rat situation, 909 Jersey. The problem continues. On Tuesday, I put out traps outside and inside, quickly caught three rats, fortunately all outside. Yesterday, I had someone come in and inspect my crawl space to make sure there weren't any entrance points. And what he told me was that it's going to cost me about $5,000 to clear up the debris of the insulation, to sanitize, re-insulate, fill holes, etc. This is really getting worse all the time. It's not going away by any means. I'd also just like to say that this is not, I have to emphasize, this is not a neighbor dispute. This is a bad situation that is a health matter that is affecting a neighborhood, both in terms of their health, in terms of resale value of the houses. Who would want to buy a house that is next to or adjacent to this situation once it's known? It is really bad. The other thing is, just in terms of health, I'd like you to keep in mind that the owner of that house is supposedly around 90 years old, presumably with the same problems, infirmities, mobility issues that any 90-year-old would be expected to have. If she falls in that house and can't summon help, those rats will end this problem very quickly. Just think about that. Also, it was mentioned at the last meeting that you believe there was an ordinance on the books already that could deal with this.
I really don't want to talk too much about it because obviously there were cars going by there were things going on. We did get a call from a new person at the Board of Health. There is an existing ordinance. I did take the time at the request of various neighbors because apparently people were told that a lawyer had said that there was no remedy available to the neighbors, and which is not true. The chief provided to, I couldn't say who, but there was a group of people that provided a name of an attorney. As I talked about, the private claims that you have are much better, much greater, and I don't know what happened with that. But there is a nuisance ordinance. But I don't want to repeat everything I said about the decision to be made to essentially remove a 90-year-old person from a house and what happens to her. It's something that we are discussing, the administration is monitoring and discussing, and that's where we're at.
Well, discussion's going on for a couple of years. Years.
I don't want to debate with you, sir. I'm just saying that that's the status really hasn't changed, other than the Board of Health. We believe they were going to take a look at it. I never got a call from, we were expecting a call. We know that a distant relative indicated that they were attempting to step in, and there's other things going on, including hopefully the group of neighbors who asked for that information would go to a lawyer that is very knowledgeable about private rights to resolve the situation.
Was there a report issued by the county health people?
I don't know.
They were around, they went on several properties. Someone needs to know what their conclusions were.
Do you know any of the properties that they went around on? Or was it one of them yours?
Yes, it was.
Did you ask them? Or her? Did you ask that person when they were on their property what they were doing there?
Oh, yes, of course. I spoke with them at length, and they said they were responding to complaints and that they would issue some conclusions.
I don't think that we heard anything. We know that they were planning on going out there, but they're a government agency which will report to us if they...
I don't know, couldn't they just inquire themselves since they were on?
Yeah. Did you get his name?
No, there were two people. I don't recall the name.
And they were certainly from Monmouth County.
Absolutely.
Did they show you ID or they just told you that?
No, they had the jackets.
If you stay around, I'll talk to you after the meeting, but I'm not going to go into detail on this up here and the stuff that
Okay.
we've been talking about. This has been going on for a while, as you mentioned before, and there was a lot of information. I wish I was here for the last meeting that we've done through our partners at the county level and the state level. We've worked through the resources that are out there, but when it comes to removing a citizen from their home and seizing their property, that is something that I don't think any of us as Americans want to take lightly. So I agree there's a concern and that there's things that need to be done, but process is very important on this, and we are very limited in the options we have. So if those people were out there as they said they were going to be, I would like to know when that was, and I will make phone calls in the morning, because we have been trying to talk to county partners to get information, and I know that there was a change in a personnel assigned and some things that happened after the last meeting, and we have been waiting to see what happens next. And then there was also, as was mentioned and alluded to, there is someone new, a relationship or something else that is in the mix that is making some progress. And again, to me, this is not a public thing. I'm happy to discuss it with neighbors and the progress going forward. I think it's positive, but I don't want to drag one of our residents in a bad situation through the mud right now in a public forum and be on the front page of the Co-Star again. I wouldn't do it to any of you, and I'm not going to do it to this woman.
I understand that, and I appreciate that. I don't care, frankly, how the discussion takes place, the interaction, but what we need is action.
I became aware of this about 3 weeks ago, and as soon as I was told about it, we started making phone calls, and things have happened that I'm going to guess you're not aware of, so I'd be more than happy to talk to you after the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Al Sineshan, 606 Prospect in Spring Lake Heights, and I own a home on Jersey Ave 903 that I have a tenant that lives in the area. Just wanted to make you guys aware that the exterminator went there, he took care of things so that the rats couldn't come in, but 2 rats were killed inside the house, and I think I showed some pictures last week. They were like 9-inch rats. But I also have the telephone number of Lisa. She was the individual that came out with the county.
She was Board of Health, you said?
Yes, and her number is 73...
Can you, after the meeting, instead of public record, and
Oh,
give
sure,
it to the whole
sure.
world on YouTube, please?
That's the business number.
Oh, okay, then go ahead, that's fine.
It's 732-493-9520, and her first name is Lisa. And another individual came out also, and they had the little white car from the county parked right in front of the house.
Do you remember what day that was? Was it recent?
Okay, 2 weeks, remember Lisa, when she came out with the other, what day did they come out, do you remember?
After the last meeting.
Oh, yeah, right after the last meeting, maybe on a Wednesday?
Okay.
Did you get her business card or her title?
No.
No, all
But
right.
when you call
We'll find
her,
it. Yeah.
I think her supervisor is John.
Thank you, that's
Okay,
helpful.
so I just wanted to make you aware that the exterminator's there, and in my residence, they caught 3 rats in the traps. Then he put out the feed for them to go in and take it away. Dennis Walsh, right next door, had caught, I think, 10 of them because the exterminator set up these traps. None were in his house, they were on the outside area. So that's where we're at now, and, you know, I paid the exterminator, and I'm not looking for any money or anything like that. I paid him $1,000. I let my tenants go live elsewhere for 3 weeks because they were not going to live in a house with the rats. They set up little cameras, and that's how they saw them. We thought it was a mice issue. But, you know, that's what we want to do, is just get it resolved.
We're certainly aware there's an issue, and a lot of things have been happening behind the scenes here that I'm more than happy to talk to you all afterwards and let everybody know the details that I know of where things are going and the direction they're going in. And I know it's coming to a resolution, and I know that it can't happen fast enough for you in that area, and I certainly appreciate that there's a problem there, and we are working on it. But the process and the procedure is part of what's hampering us, and I'm frustrated to know that someone from the health department was out there nearly 2 weeks ago, and we're finding out from all of you, and we've been trying to get information. So thank you, and I
Okay.
appreciate that phone number.
All right.
So I don't mind it being out there for everyone. Maybe other people can call too, and we'll get a response.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Anyone else? No? Motion to close, please.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? We are closed for comment. Thank you, everyone. We have no public hearings this evening. Our reports, notices, and correspondence. We have notice from the South Monmouth Regional Sewage Authority for a notice of a public hearing for amended sewer use service with a schedule charge. Spring Lake Heights Planning Board public notice for our meeting on October 13th in reference to 554 Church Street. We have no ordinance introductions this evening, so we have our consent agenda, which has 4 resolutions on there. 154, approving the extension of outdoor dining dates. 155, approving outdoor music permit at Spring Lake Manor. 156, authorizing encroachment agreement regarding property known as 913 Shenandoah Drive. And 154, authorizing the refund of overpaid or canceled water sewer utility charges. Does anyone have any issues with any of those resolutions and want to pull them out for discussion?
Mr. Mayor, can I just have one, do you need the equipment surplus resolution or not?
Well, can we just, yes.
We won't put it on the consent agenda, but we can tell them before they adjourn.
Okay. So we'll have a resolution 159 as
We
well.
need to amend our agenda then? We're already in, can we do it in 2 weeks at the next meeting? We got a meeting on the 18th.
Janine,
Janine, can we just wait till the next meeting because we haven't amended our agenda?
Okay. Yes, it's fine.
Okay, thank you.
actually, yeah, I guess you're wonderful.
No, we talked about it before and I just slipped, but I don't think there's any urgency behind that. I think it can be done at the next meeting. Thank you. Any discussion on any of those 4 resolutions? If not, could I have a motion on the consent agenda, please?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Consent agenda is approved. Single resolution 158, approving the payments of the itemized claims as set forth on the October 1st, 2021's bills list. Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? That motion carries. Anyone have anything else before we adjourn? Seeing none, a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? Motion carries. We are adjourned. You were very confident having a call at 7:15 for 7 o'clock meeting.
Yeah, Sarah's on that.